What up is Dane, and in this video I'm going to be telling you how to set your calories for fat loss, right? I'm excited to do this video, I'm not going to lie, so let's get it. So a lot of people want to lose fat, especially after the holidays, and they want to know how to set their calories, they want to start counting calories, right? So, excuse me, I'm going to be telling you exactly how to do that. When you count calories, remember you don't need to do this for the rest of your life, right? So don't get too worried, and the whole point of it is just to get used to knowing how much food weighs and how many calories is in them and that. But you want to know how to set your calories, and I want to tell you exactly that. I'm not going to be telling you however how to set your macronutrients, because that's not the point of the video. And in my humble opinion, I don't think it's necessary to calculate your macronutrients like carbohydrates, fats, especially when you're not competing for a bodybuilder, right? You're not a bodybuilder, you're not competing, you don't really need to do this. It's all about your calorie balance and your protein intake, right? So let's get it. So get a calculator out, get popcorn, sit down, and let's work the shit out for you, right? So how to set your calories in order to lose fat. Let's get it. So I want to cover 3 different like factors, or I don't know, we could say groups. One group being someone that's already very lean, like 10% body fat, 12% body fat. Someone that's in the mid range, like 15% body fat, and then someone that's like real overweight, right? I want to cover these 3 groups. So I was going to say if you come in any of these 3 groups, you will, because it's all of the groups, then watch this video. So let's get it. In order to set your calories, you need to do this. This is a rough estimate, and this is quite a good estimate actually. I've actually just been researching, because usually I just say 11 times blah blah blah, use activity multiplier, and then, but that's just a long method. This is quite a quick method, and it's kind of a little accurate. So 15 times your body weight in pounds, right? That's really all you need to know, right? That's going to give you a baseline of how many calories you need to eat per day to maintain your weight. Yeah, so for example, say 15 times 200, whatever that number is. I don't like to do math in public in this show, I'm shit at maths. So anyway, whatever that number is, that's the calorie maintenance. Now, this is where I get into the groups, right? Basically, let me cover calorie maintenance. Calorie maintenance, for those of you who don't know, it's just how many calories you need to eat per day to sustain everything, your weight, your muscle, all of this shit, right? So just how many calories you need to eat per day, that's your calorie maintenance. But for fat loss, we need to be in what's called a calorie deficit. This is the most important factor. It doesn't matter how many healthy foods you eat, how much green broccoli you eat. Not that you can get a different color, I don't know why I said that, but you know what I'm trying to tell you, man. So calorie deficit is the most important thing. You can eat any food you like as long as you're in a calorie deficit, right? That's real important for those of you who think you need to be real healthy. Healthy foods do contain fewer calories in some circumstances, but those are the 2 basic principles, right? The calorie maintenance, you need to know what that is, and the calorie deficit is the #1 factor to fat loss. Second is protein intake, right? So now that we have our calorie maintenance, we're gonna have to get our protein intake. I'll be telling you your calorie deficit, so how many calories you need to eat per day in order to lose fat, in 1 second. Basically, probably a minute. So anyway, protein intake. This is real important, especially in this group. If you're already very lean, say like 10% body fat, 12% body fat, you can really see your abs already, and you just want to get like almost like a fitness model type, and bodybuilders, you really need to up your protein intake, right? When you're very lean, your protein intake goes up. The more you train, the more your protein intake goes up. You know what I'm saying? So basically like this, right? So the body fat percentage, the more it goes down, more protein intake goes up. The more you train, the more protein intake goes up. Stuff like this, right? Basically, you can't really lose muscle mass, right, if your protein intake is good. For example, some people might say, oh, but if I eat 1,000 calories a day or 1,500 calories a day, of course I'm going to lose muscle because I won't have any nutrients. Yes, you dickhead, because you're probably eating 50% carbs, 50% protein. When your calorie deficit is that aggressive, you will have to do like 90% protein, right? So your protein is real important in order to maintain lean muscle tissue. So keep note. So in order to get a good protein baseline or requirement, but I will, like in a second, I will get into different groups and that, but just as a baseline, minimum 1 pound per pound of body weight minimum. For very lean individuals, it'll be about 1.2, minimum 1.2 pounds per pound of body weight. No, minimum 1.2 grams per pound of body weight for very lean individuals. But for those of you that are like average, you can see your abs a little bit, or you can't see your abs at all, minimum 1 pound, right? So I'll get more into that later on. But so far we've covered calorie maintenance, so how many calories you need to eat per day to sustain everything, the calorie deficit, how many calories you need to eat per day to lose fat, that's the number one thing, don't forget that, and your protein intake, right? Those are the 3 most important factors when it comes to nutrition. So let me cover method number 1 or group number 1, whatever you want to call it, the very lean individuals that are like 10 to 12% body fat. Let me tell you about this shit. So this is probably going to mainly apply to males, but females can listen in as well. It will kind of slightly apply to you, but the figures won't be exactly the same. So very lean individuals, right, their calorie deficit only has to be about 200 to 400, right? So when if you're a very lean individual and you want to just get absolutely completely shredded out of your mind, or just get to like 8% body fat, here's for you. So listen in. Once you have your calorie maintenance, right, you have that number we calculated at the start, minus about 200 to 400, probably just pick 300 as a middle figure, right? Once you have that number, that's called your calorie deficit. Eat those amount of calories for a few weeks and you'll be losing fat. Aim for about 0.5 to 0.8 pounds of fat loss per week. That would be optimal to maintain your muscle gain as well. But like I said, it's all about the protein intake, man. For you, the lean individual, your protein intake is probably going to be about 1.2 to even shooting if you're very, very, very lean and you get like your six packs popping, probably 1.5 maximum grams of protein per pound of body weight. And that's quite a lot. So that will prevent, and also don't forget, maintain your strength. So that's group number 1, the very lean individual. Group number 2, like the average person that's not very overweight but not very lean. This applies to you, probably the masses, right? The masses. So here you need to be eating at about a 500 to 700 calorie deficit, right? So remember at the start you had your calorie maintenance, 15 times your body weight in pounds. Now when you have that number, you minus 500 to that, or 700 if you want to go a bit more aggressive. Once you have that number, you should be shooting about 1.2, 1.3 grams, 1.3 pounds of fat loss per week. That would be good to sustain. And again, protein intake time. So you're probably thinking, why am I also going on about protein, right? Even if you're a very overweight individual, which I'll get to in a minute, is that protein intake has got a lot of benefits besides just retaining or maintaining lean muscle tissue, right? It does make you feel a lot fuller. So that's really important. That's why I keep on about protein, right? So let's get to group number 3. I don't want to make this video too long. For the overweight individual that can't see the abs, and I mean, you know if you're overweight or not, come on, like, you gotta admit this. And I'm going to be helping you to get through it. So again, like I said at the start of the video, calorie maintenance, 15 times your body weight in pounds. Now once we have that number, this time we're going to minus about 1,000, right? This is real important. This is going to be real aggressive. I want to tell you why we can do this in a second. Why we minus this about 1,000. And this will allow you to lose fat real fast, right? I'm not going to be telling you it's going to be real easy, because it's not. But you're going to be losing fat real fast. And remember this, it took you a long time. Okay, like I was saying before the camera died, it took you a long time to get overweight, so you got to take the time out to lose all the fat, right? So where was I? The overweight individual, right? So for you, you got to shoot for about, I don't know, 1,000 calorie deficit. So again, 15 times your body weight in pounds minus 1,000. But this time you're gonna aim to lose about 2.7 to 3 pounds per week, right? And initially when you start this diet, you'll probably lose like 5 pounds in the first day, which will be a lot of water weight. But you'll see overall it'll start to slow down. But about 3 pounds per week, man, that's insane. In 1 month, that's an insane number of fat to lose. And then after a while, you'll start going back on a normal diet, right? But real important to know is that when you go on this diet, like I said, you can't eat any foods you want, but especially for the overweight individual, your diet's going to be 80% protein, man, or even higher to maintain like lean muscle tissue. But again, you're not going to have tons of energy to probably train in the gym, so you're probably going to be training two times a week in the gym, or 3 times maximum, right? So that's real important. So now that I've told you how many calories you need to eat to lose weight for your individual group, and how much protein to kind of shoot for, I told you roughly in some. Actually, I've told you in the first group, for very lean individuals, I've told you. For middleweight individuals, for like the masses, probably 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight minimum to maintain lean muscle tissue. And for the overweight individual, Usually it's about, the protein intake can be a lot lower, but now that we go in calorie deficit, it's so aggressive. Remember, like I said, the more aggressive your calorie deficit is, the higher the protein intake, right? And the leaner you are, the higher the protein intake. Because protein makes you feel fuller a lot longer. So that's I think I've covered the basics right here. But let me give you some more tips on how you can do this and just make life a lot easier for yourself. Okay, 2 days later, like I was saying, and the tips that I was going to give is, remember the lean individual, the moderate individual, or the average one, and the fat one. So you want to know the tips, right? I want to try and make this video shorter than it already is, even though that doesn't make sense. I don't want to make it too long. So the tips basically, for those of you just hitting for the small deficit, like the bodybuilder, the very lean individual, they could probably just, or even anyone that wants to shoot for a small deficit, can just make small changes, right? Like change to, I don't know, low fat milk, like different types of bread, just shit like this, like real small changes of food will do the job. Whereas the moderate person, they can do that and they can do cardio as well, right? So they can cut their calories a bit with just changes of foods, eating more healthier, more vegetable stuff like this, and then adding more cardio that will get the deficit going again. So moderate deficit. But then a large person, again, they're gonna have to go real aggressive on the food. They're gonna have to have limited sources of food that are real low in calories, and of course do low impact cardio, because they're not gonna have a lot of energy for high impact cardio and shit like that. So anyway, or even a high intensity for that matter. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, this was 2 days later. I'll shoot the last clip. But anyway, as always, let me know what you thought down below. Subscribe down below, comment, yeah, whatever. Stay positive, stay smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.